This is the cursed well of Kala Kot village, and the story has now become far darker, bloodier, and more terrifying than before. Deep in a forgotten village stood an ancient well that had remained dry for generations. When the villagers finally decided to dig it deeper for water, their shovels struck something hard just 4 feet down. It was a complete human skeleton, still wearing a tarnished copper bracelet on its wrist. Scratched into the metal with desperate fingernails were the words, "I was buried alive." The villagers felt a chill, but they tossed the bones aside and kept digging. Water finally came, thick, black, and faintly red, like diluted blood. The first man who drank from it woke up the next morning with his tongue blackened and rotting. By evening, it had fallen out entirely. That very night, the horror truly began. From the depths of the well came sounds no living thing should make. The wet scratching of nails on stone, the slow crack of breaking bones, and the gurgling, choking gasps of someone drowning in their own blood, over and over again. One moonless night, Shamu, the greediest and most despised man in the village, went to the well alone. He dreamed of hidden treasure buried at the bottom. He tied a rope and lowered himself into the darkness. Inside, the walls were covered in thousands of deep claw marks, some old, some fresh, as if someone had spent decades trying to climb out. Then, cold, slimy fingers wrapped around the back of his neck from behind. He turned and screamed. There she was, the girl from the skeleton, but her face had rotted away long ago. Where skin should have been, there was only exposed bone and raw muscle. Her mouth gaped unnaturally wide, filled with jagged, yellowed teeth that looked more like a wild animal's than a human's. Her eye sockets were empty, black pits weeping thick, black water. And her long black hair moved on its own, writhing like dozens of living snakes reaching for him. Shamu's scream echoed inside the well for hours that night. No one dared go near until morning. When the villagers finally gathered, they found Shamu's body at the top, but his head was still at the bottom. His severed head had been carefully placed on the stone rim of the well. Both eyes had been gouged out and stuffed into his own mouth. His tongue was gone, bitten off and swallowed by something that was still hungry. The old sage, Baba Ramlal, was called once more. He stood at the edge of the well, looked down into the blackness, and spoke in a trembling voice. She is no longer just a soul seeking revenge. She has become madness itself. She hungers for eyes to see what was done to her, and tongues to scream the words she could never speak while she was buried alive. Every person who has touched this well, every person who has tasted its water, is marked. She will come for them all. Since that day, no one goes within 50 steps of the well after sunset. But sometimes, very late at night, people still hear it. The wet scratch, scratch, scratch of nails climbing slowly upward, the snap of teeth, the bubbling, choking sound of someone trying to speak without a tongue. And every few months, someone disappears in the morning near the well. they find only a headless body with empty eyes and a mouth that has been crudely sewn shut with human hair. They say she is no longer searching for just one killer. She wants everyone who ever profited from her suffering. She wants everyone who drank from her grave. And she is getting stronger, hungrier. Every night, here is how the well looks at midnight when she is near. This is the thing that waits in the darkness, and this is what remains of those she claims. So if you ever hear that sound late at night, scratch, gurgle, run. Because she already knows your face. She already knows the taste of your fear. And she is climbing, slowly, patiently. Coming for your eyes first. Just don't listen too closely if you hear scratching under your bed tonight. Sweet dreams. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.